Well, hello, I'm Gustavo Tolosa, and you've seen me from other webinars with Dr. McDougall and Chef AJ, and now today is February 19th, right?
Yeah.
2017, and I'm in Santa Rosa, I'm in Sacramento.
You get around, don't you?
That's right. And here I have Andrew Taylor, that most of you know, and if not, you will know him today. And of course, he has, let's see if I can get this wonderful book. You know, this is the guy that ate potatoes for a whole year. And you may wonder, what does he have?
Don't
in
forget
his
Bodie.
lab?
We've got Bodie here too.
I have to introduce Bodie. Can you move the camera?
Oh, yeah.
I made
There
a best friend here
we go.
while I'm visiting.
There he is.
And he's Bodie, and he has chosen me. So he came and sat here. And
there's not a thing you can do about
I
it.
can't. It's 70 pounds. These 70 pounds is what I lost doing the starch solution. So now I gained them back. So anyway,
when Bodie decides to sit on you, you're going to get sat on. There's nothing you can do about it.
Here because he's the sweetest thing ever. So
try to get him in the shot too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, when Andrew started his 1 year of eating potatoes, I did a webinar with him and Dr. McDougall. Well, it was one of our regular webinars every Thursday, and so we invited Andrew to be a guest. And that was at the very beginning, right?
Yeah, that was
maybe it had been.
Maybe it had been like 5 or 6 weeks by then.
Right.
And at that point, it still is one of the highlights. But at that point, that was the highlight of the year, being on the webinar with you and Dr. McDougall.
Oh yeah.
It got bigger and bigger from there. But it's one of the top 5 points of the year. That was really great time. Yeah.
So I thought that since we're here for the Healthy Taste of Sacramento, which ended a few hours ago, I would do a little interview for all of you as a follow-up, and just kind of it's an informal visit with Andrew here, and he has a wonderful website where he will probably have answered every single question that you may have in this webinar. So tell them, what is the website called?
Spudfit.com. It's just that, the title of the book, spudfit.com. That's it.
Yes, and I got a copy of the book, and it has some great recipes there, so I encourage you to get it.
Yeah, good, very simple potato recipes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Brado, I reckon.
Yes, that's good. Spudfit.com, and there you have videos, and you have, what
on the Spudfit.com itself, I keep a blog there, so there's a few blogs. I've got a podcast there, so you can get that on iTunes. Just look up Spudfit Podcast. And there's an FAQ page. Lots of people write to me and ask me lots of questions, and I don't always have time to answer the emails properly. So when I don't have time, then I say just go and read the FAQ page, and there's information about the other things that I do, but they're the main things: the blog and the podcast.
Right. And you also have a Facebook.
I got a Facebook, and I got an Instagram. I got a YouTube. I do lots of YouTube videos, pretty informal YouTube videos. And yeah, it's all just Spudfit on all the social medias, and it's just look Spudfit, you'll find it.
Good. And you have a child.
I do. I've got
How old is he?
Nearly 3.5 years old, little Teddy, little blonde beast.
Yeah.
He's he takes after his dad in being big, and he takes after his mum in looking good.
He did a wonderful lecture last weekend at the Advanced Study Weekend. Really, it was very touching.
Oh, thank you.
Just great. So
it was a good moment for me.
It was a highlight, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was like my Super Bowl moment.
And you guys can also watch that because it's available on Dr. McDougall's website, drmcdougall.com. I think you can still get that.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, he decided to go. Okay, so I'm free now. I don't know what he saw.
They opened the back door, I think.
Okay.
Okay. Well, so anyway, Andrew, what was the total number of pounds that you
last year I lost 117 pounds, but I've lost a few more this year, so I'm 121 pounds gone now. Well, that was I haven't weighed myself for like 3 weeks now, so maybe I've put some on, maybe I've lost some more. I don't know. But last time I weighed myself was 121 total.
But more than after a while, losing weight, it's not all. It's mostly. Would you say that the most you got out of this is the health benefits?
Absolutely. It was never about weight loss for me. In the beginning, I had this realization that I was relying on food for comfort, enjoyment, emotional support, and it was an unhealthy relationship because food was not giving me the things that I thought it was.
Right.
So I would eat a piece of chocolate cake at the end of a bad day because I thought it made me feel better, and then I had this realization that in the long run, it actually makes me feel worse. Right. So I had a year of intentionally making my food as boring as I could so that I wouldn't get any pleasure out of my food, and I'd have to find pleasure from other areas of life. So that was the main focus for me, and then weight loss happened as a result.
As a result.
Yeah.
Well, you're lucky because you have a wife that was willing to go in this journey with you. So.
Yeah, I'm lucky in many more ways than just that.
Yeah.
She's a fantastic person, but she was really supportive of me from the start and just said, if that's what you got to do, then that's what you got to do, and she supported me all the way.
And what a lucky little boy this is going to be, that growing up as a starchy boy. Your son.
Yeah, well, he's been since birth, since conception, he's been fed that way because we're not 100%. My wife's always been pretty good at eating not 100% whole food, plant-based, starchivore kind of style, but very close to it. And I've been the one that's been no good at it, but he's been.
Wow.
Now I'm good at it, but I wasn't before.
Right. Wow. Well, so I guess some of the questions that people, I'm just going to ask you the questions that I've heard often, and I'm sure that you have repeated these, but
that's okay. I never get sick of it.
Yeah, maybe for the sake of this short interview. So, did you ever feel during this year at some point that you were not going to make it, like you couldn't do it, that this was maybe too long, a whole year? Did you feel at some point that you were going to give up, or was it an option?
When I first decided to try it, I thought I wouldn't be able to do it. I thought it was just too big an ask, which is why I decided to allow myself a little bit of minimal flavouring, a little bit of dried herbs and spices, and a tiny bit of ketchup, very, very small amount, just to give it a little bit of something, because I thought I would have needed that to get through. All day, every day for the first 2 weeks, I thought there's no chance I can do this. But I thought, before I started, I thought, really, the only failure in life is in not trying.
That's right.
So if I tried and failed, my life would have been exactly the same as it was anyway. So what have I got to lose? But then I flipped my thinking around and thought, instead of worrying about what if I fail, I started thinking about what if I succeed.
Yes.
And to have that flip in my thinking of what if I succeed, that was a really monumental thing. So then I stopped worrying about failure, and I just started trying to do it. And I still didn't think I could, but I wasn't worried about failing anymore.
Right.
I was just, if I failed, whatever. But so anyway, I got through the 2 weeks, and it was really, really hard 2 weeks. Hardest thing I've ever done. But I made it, and then from the 2 week mark onward, it got easier.
It got easier, right?
It was really, I just got in a groove, and I just went through the year. It wasn't really such a problem. But that first 2 weeks, it was really hard.
I think it's important to tell people whether they do, a smaller kind of change or something more drastic like you did.
Yeah.
It's there's that hump you have to go through, and then it gets easier.
Definitely. Whatever change you're making in life, it's always hard in the beginning. If you've got a habit of doing things a certain way, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's like you want to stop tapping your legs so much, it's a little thing, but it's hard to do in the beginning.
How did you find ways to for like accountability to continue? Was there anything that really kept you going?
For me, it was all about just my sole focus was, if I got through the day eating only potatoes, that was success. Give myself a tick. That's it. I didn't care what the scale said. I didn't care about anything else, what my pant size was or anything. None of that mattered. The only measure of success that I had was not even the whole day. If I can get through breakfast, eating only potatoes, success. And then we'll think about lunch after that.
Right.
You know, the longest journey starts with a single step. So I just wanted to focus on each step as I went. And
sometimes sometimes that is the secret, because sometimes we look at way far, and we just have to go one meal at a time.
Yeah, well, that's what I'd always done over the rest of my life. I'd start a diet and think, right, I've got all this weight to lose, and think about the end goal. But this one was the first time I'd ever done it differently, because I thought everything I'd ever done in my life regarding diet, I'd always failed at. Yeah. Always. So for that reason, I'm not going to try to do anything that's the same as I did before. Yeah. Before, I weighed myself every day. Didn't work. So I'm not going to do that anymore.
No, don't do
Before,
that.
I focused on I need to lose 10 kilos or 20 kilos. That's my goal. It didn't work, so I didn't do that. I just tried everything different to what I did before. That's all, yeah.
So you not only ate regular potatoes, you also had sweet potatoes, right?
Yeah, sweet potatoes
it was any kind of potato.
Yeah, and sweet potatoes are technically not a potato,
right?
But they have the name though, and I thought since we call it a potato, that's good enough for me.
When did you learn that the sweet potato is not technically a potato? Did you learn that as you were?
Yeah, that was as I was going. Yeah, but I didn't realize that it was a different family until after I started. Yeah, but whatever, doesn't matter.
So these recipes that you have in your book, are these things that you came up with, or some of them are things that you found and you adapted? Because they really are.
So my wife came up with most of them. There's a couple in there. So there's a basic mashed potato recipe. That's my recipe. But then my wife turned it into something a little bit more exotic, and that's her recipe. Apart from that, my wife made them up, or people wrote to me, like there's potato pancakes in there, and somebody wrote to me about potato pancakes, so I tried it. Okay. And, but most of the recipes in there I didn't eat. I tried each of them. You know, there's, the potato pancakes is a big one. I get emails all the time from people that want to know about the potato pancakes, and literally I ate them twice for the whole year.
Oh, really?
People write to me and say, I'm going to make them every morning for breakfast.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, no, you can do that if you want. I'm not saying don't, but I made them. Someone wrote to me and said, hey, you should try this, so I made them once, and they were good. And then the next time I ate them was when we made that book, and we had to make them to take a photo. So then I ate them after we took the photo, and that's it.
So you really found some simple things that you liked. Yeah, and you stick with them. Yeah.
Pretty much all I ate was either mashed potato, the simple recipe from that book, or boiled potatoes or baked potatoes. And sometimes, most of the time plain, but sometimes with some dried herb spices, maybe a little bit of salt, maybe a little bit of ketchup or barbecue sauce or sriracha. But
were you around people? Like, were you at that time? Were you? Do you have a job? Do you go to work? And how did people react when they saw you doing this? Did they ask you questions or not? Or did they try to tell you were crazy? Or
I didn't really tell anyone in the beginning. I kept it to myself. I did make a YouTube channel, but I didn't tell
you eating it.
But nobody really noticed until it all went viral. Oh. And even then, lots of people still didn't notice because they hadn't seen me on the news or whatever. Mm-hmm. And
But they started seeing the weight coming off.
And by the time people at work knew about it and started asking questions, by then I'd already lost like 15, 20 kilos. So I didn't. There was no. People couldn't really say that, that's not going to work, it's going to make you fat, because I could go, well, I've already lost 10, 15 kilos.
That's right.
It's not making me fat, so...
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, very good. And you got to meet, tell us a little bit about the people, doctors, or any of the people that you have gotten to meet during this year that maybe you never thought you were going to meet, like Dr. McDougall.
So many people
that have really made a big difference in your life.
So Dr. McDougall was a big one because he, without him, I wouldn't have probably done this. Yeah. I didn't know him, I'd never met him, but I did some research. The first thing I did when I had the idea of quitting food, obviously you can't quit food, but my idea was to quit all foods except one, and thereby try to make it as close to an quitting alcohol sort of thing, right? So I did a Google search for what is the perfect food to see if I could find one food, and Dr. McDougall was the first thing that came up. Right, so that led me down the rabbit hole of research. And then later on, when everything went viral, the TV show called The Doctors, they emailed me and said they wanted to have me on the show and interview me. So that was pretty cool. But so I got on and looked up The Doctors, and I found a couple of YouTube clips, and one of them they treated another vegan couple called the Happy Healthy Vegan, and they had been on the show, and they'd been the Doctors people had made them look foolish a little bit, and the interview was edited in a way that these guys didn't really get their say in properly, and so I looked at that and I was like, I don't think I want to do this because they're just going to make me look foolish. So I wrote back and said, yes, I'd love to come on the show, but I want support, and I want you to get Dr. McDougall to come on with me.
Yeah.
So I left that email, and I didn't hear back for a little bit, and then a couple of days later they wrote back and said, yes, Dr. McDougall's agreed.
Oh.
I was like, what? I can't believe it. I had never even emailed him or anything.
Awesome.
I was like, Dr. McDougall's not interested in me.
Like,
whatever, I'm just nobody. He doesn't care about me. And then he's agreed to go on the TV with me. So that was quite cool. And then shortly after that, we did our webinar together, which was even cooler because my favourite bit of that was before we went live on air, we had a 15-minute chat, just the three of us, and that was really cool because when we went on The Doctors, we didn't get to talk to each other. We were just separately on the show. Like, he was on Skype from his end and I was on Skype from mine, and we didn't get to talk to each other. But that little webinar and that 15-minute conversation we had before we went live, that was my favourite bit. We just to be able to just chat.
I know.
That was cool,
It was like 4 a.m. or some crazy thing like that.
I'll get up any time of night for that.
So it was. I think that interview with Dr. McDougall. Well, it was 11 in the morning in California, but it was some crazy hour.
I think it was like 3 or 4 in the morning for me, which is fine. I'll get up any time of the morning to speak to you guys. That was good.
Cool. Who's another person or doctor or someone else that you met during this year that?
There's lots of them. Yeah. So it wasn't actually a doctor. There was a guy called Rich Roll who has a Rich Roll podcast, and I'd been a fan of his for quite a while, and I'd listened to lots of his podcasts. And I came to LA for the Veg Source. What's it called? The Healthy Lifestyle Expo in LA, run by Jeff Nelson from VegSource.com.
Right.
And I met a few people there. I met Neil Barnard, and I actually met Dr. McDougall face to face there.
And Chef AJ, maybe?
And Chef AJ there. I went to Chef AJ's place for dinner. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And lots of guys there. I met Don Forrester. I'm probably missing lots of people, but I met a few people there. That was really cool. They were all really amazing people. Especially I had a great time with Chef AJ going to her place for dinner. But one of the real highlights was Rich Roll. I did the Rich Roll podcast, went to his house and hung out for a bit, and sat in his kitchen and had a chat for a couple of hours, which became a podcast episode. That was really cool because I'd been a fan of his for a long time. Chef AJ I didn't know that well. I knew of her and I read a bit of her stuff. But then, it was really, really cool to meet her and hang out with her. But I didn't have the same history of being a fan of her before I met her like I did with Rich. So, was. I'm a big fan of Chef AJ now, but I didn't know enough about her before I met her.
Hopefully, you will be able to do more things in the future with all of us.
Well, in about a month, a little bit less than a month, Rich is actually coming to Australia. So I'm doing 2 events with him. One event in Sydney. So maybe I should know the website for it, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's look up livingtheplantpowerway.com or just look up richroll.com and there'll be a link to it. If you want to come, and if you're in Sydney or Melbourne, you want to come and see Rich Roll and myself and a couple of other people speak, then that'd be cool. But that's on, so one event in Sydney, one event in Melbourne, so that's going to be cool,
Now, tell us something because...
and Julie Pyatt, his wife's going to be there. Sorry, Julie, I can't believe I forgot you. But Julie Pyatt...
when you start naming people, you will always, hopefully you forget some. You did have medical supervision during that year, right?
I did, and that's...
Would you recommend that someone who's trying to do something drastic
Absolutely.
That they do. That.
Yeah. In the beginning, I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
I was a typical man who was just going to,
You're
whatever, I don't need help. I can
You
go and do
need
it.
help.
But yeah, all of the best things about me come from my wife. So when I had the idea, she did support me, but not unconditionally.
With one condition.
Exactly. The one condition was that I needed to see a doctor and get supervision,
Well,
so
good.
that I could put her mind at ease. And
I think that's a
definitely,
good idea.
yeah.
Especially for anybody that are people that are taking medication.
Yeah.
Because when you switch to a plant-based, way of eating, you need a doctor to basically adapt your medication almost daily.
Yeah.
Because you improve so well.
Yeah,
so,
the medications can become dangerous.
Right.
If you keep on taking them, because your body heals so quickly that if you're on blood pressure medications, for example, your blood pressure from your diet will drop drastically, and then if you're on medications that lower it even further, then you've got problems. And there's lots of
or if you're a diabetic, I mean, you will fall flat on your face because of you have to have your medication daily. And of course, when you attend Dr. McDougall's 10-day program, that's what they do. They're daily checking on you because of that.
Yes. So that's really important, definitely.
Well, tell us a little bit, just to maybe close this interview. What are your plans for the future, or your hopes, or whatever you can say that is not private?
There's not really. There's a couple of little ideas that are private. So last year was the year I'm Spud Fit, right? So last year was the year of Spuds. This year's the year of Fit. So I'm working really hard on getting fit this year.
Good.
And I have a couple of little ideas for fitness challenges that I might do towards the end of the year, but I'm not going to talk about them publicly until once I've settled on something, which I probably should try and do sometime soon.
Yes.
But once I've settled on a proper fitness challenge, then I'll let everyone know. But I don't want to talk about it until then. But apart from that, I'm in the middle of writing another book. So this one that we showed you is a skinny book. It's just a how-to guide. There's like 50, 60 pages. How to do it yourself if you want to. But the new book I'm working on is going to be a lot bigger, a lot more information about me personally, my own story, and like right now I've got ideas for around 20 chapters, and I've written 4 chapters, and it's already a lot more than that. So,
wow.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Apart from that, though, I'm not one for planning, because the reason for that is that if you told me at the beginning of last year that I'd be doing this year, I would have just thought you were totally nuts.
Right.
And to plan for this would have been like I couldn't have even dreamed that it would happen. No. So how could I have planned for it? Yeah. So for that reason, I'm not really into plans. I just want to get up each day and do whatever I think's the right thing to do on that day, and just see where it takes me. Yeah.
But you have a passion for helping others. So what do you want to accomplish in the next? How do you see yourself helping others?
Yeah. Okay. So I've been a teacher for 15 years, right? And I got into teaching, as most people do, because I want to help people. I want to help the kids to get a good education, help them have a good life, and all that sort of thing. And last year, I was a teacher, and I was able to help 30 or 40 kids to improve their lives through education and that sort of thing, which is great. I think it's fantastic. Teaching's a really important job. Great people do it, all of that. But at the same time as that, I was able to help thousands and thousands of people improve their lives through learning more about nutrition, losing weight, getting healthier, improving their self-esteem, psychology, all of that sort of thing. I got emails every single day from multiple people that had been helped by me. So I started thinking, if my aim in life is to help people, then I should try to help as many people as I can, and it's a no-brainer. I've got to try and move into this side of things.
Right.
So how that actually works, I'm not really sure.
Okay.
But I've heard from a few people that seem to think I'm raking in heaps of cash, and but my wife's gone back to work so that she can support me in trying to make. I've made a little bit of money, but what I've spent probably at the moment still outweighs what I've made. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
the point is that I'm trying to turn this into a career. I'm trying to, if I want to be able to help as many people as possible, then I have to be able to do it full time.
Of course.
And to be able to do it full time, then I have to try to find ways to make money out of it as well. And I'm writing a book and I'm coaching and things like that. But at the same time, everything that I do, every bit of advice or everything I would ever say to anyone that I'm trying to help is also available for free.
It is, yes.
You can get it from my website. You can get it from YouTube for free. And I'm happy with that. But also I want to be available to help people that think they need a little bit of extra one-on-one help as well. So
right. I mean, I think
maybe I'll do more speaking gigs and things like that too. I'd love to do that, like I did last weekend at McDougall's thing, and next month with Rich Roll, and who knows?
Yes, that's a good way of doing it. But coaching people, I mean, there are people that really need it and that they wouldn't mind, paying a fee. And I think that that's a very good way of helping.
Well, I think everyone's a winner. If everyone, if I do a bad job of coaching, then no one's going to pay me for it. And if I do a good job, then I get some money, and the person who wants help gets some help, and it's good for everyone. So I'd like to, and also if I can make money doing that, then it means I can also spend more time making YouTube videos and writing blogs and that sort of thing. So that's what it's about. I want to find ways to be able to spend all day, every day, trying to create content that can help people to improve their lives. That's really what it's all about for me.
Well, this is great to just sit here and chat, because we had met through the internet. It's always good to meet the person, in person.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else that maybe I didn't ask you? You'd like to just say to people to encourage them or to?
I always just say to people the number one thing that people have to remember is that everything that you need for success is already within you. You don't need to go and find the perfect person to help you, or the perfect book to read, or the perfect anything. Everything you need for success is already there. You just need to work on finding a way to bring it out. And for me, that was having a year of eating only potatoes. For you, it might be trying to run a marathon. For someone else, it might be, for you maybe it's, who knows, I don't know. Might be trying to learn a musical instrument.
Exactly.
And then you should call Gustavo and get him to teach you piano.
That's right.
But you just have to challenge yourself and take action is basically what it is. You can't sit around waiting for the right time or waiting for things to happen. You just got to take action and see what happens.
And sometimes the person will take action when they are going through a crucial time in their life, when they may have a big challenge in their health or something, and then they're more open-minded to try new things.
Yeah, definitely. When the pain of your situation gets to be greater than the pain of making a change, that's when people typically make change.
Right.
But you don't have to wait for that to happen.
You
can do it anytime.
Don't. Yeah, I waited until
me too.
that time.
I waited too long.
And so, and here, come here. Oh, well, he left. Well, Andrew,
All right.
Thank you for giving us these minutes here to get up. Here you go.
He's going to trip over the leads.
Maybe I think he's trying to get here to get back on my lap again.
He's trying to get back to Gustavo.
Maybe. I don't know.
No.
Now it's choosing somebody.
Somebody in the way.
Bodie's comfy over here.
Anyway, well, maybe next time that I do a interview with Andrew, it's going to be in Australia, because I really want to visit.
Oh, well, you're welcome. I'll take you to a nice whole food plant-based restaurant, and
he'll make me my favorite. I'll choose my
I will.
favorite
You can,
recipes.
no doubt. You're welcome in my place, and I'll have to, unless it's a boring, not that it's boring, but unless it's mashed potatoes, we might have to get my wife to make it for you.
Well, so if anybody wants to email you, do you have a special email where people can send?
You can find it through my website, spudfit.com, but also spudfit@gmail.com, or look me up, spudfit on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I mean, Yeah, I use all those things. Or Twitter as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you, and last weekend and this weekend. Yeah.
Very good. And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you soon.
And spud up.
Okay. Yes. Bye bye.